For some context, my 33 female boyfriend John, 41, and I have been dating for almost a year now, and things were great. He's romantic, loving, helps with chores, I know, right? And he's funny as well. However, no person is without their faults. He's a bit uptight about his feelings and expressing his emotions sometimes, and he's struggled a lot with his mental health in the past, but he's doing well now. I also know that he had an incredibly strange relationship with his father, and that it must have been abusive to some degree, but I don't know any details. His dad died years before I met him, but I can count the number of times John has talked about his dad on one hand. He's that tight-lipped about those sort of things. Well, anyway, last week I found out that I'm pregnant, and I went to tell John. I thought he would be happy because he has a little niece and a baby nephew that he's great with. And as I said before, he's a loving and caring partner. But I was entirely wrong. John flipped out on me completely. He told me to put the baby up for adoption and accused me of cheating, called me names, etc. It wasn't good. He said that he never wanted to see me again, and he kicked me out of his house. I'm kind of in shock, and I've honestly been crying and eating ice cream for the past few days, trying to decide what to do. I haven't spoken to John at all. He hasn't answered any of my calls, so honestly, I accepted that he meant what he said. But 2 days ago, his sister, 37, reached out to me. I'm not super close to her, not because she's mean or anything. It's just that John is a little introverted, so I haven't spent much time with his family. So anyway, Emily basically told me that John didn't mean anything that he said, and he was basically upset about his reaction. This made me really angry. I told her if he was that upset, he needed to apologize to me himself. And honestly, I wasn't even sure if I could accept his apology, because the way he acted made me rethink whether or not he's father material. Emily kept her cool and she explained a few things to me. First, she clarified about his dad. She said he was incredibly violent and toxic, and she's sure that John is just scared. Emily didn't tell me any details and said that was up to John. And while I am heartbroken to know that the person I love so much was hurt so badly, I'm still not sure what to do or how to move forward. Emily also said that John's mom knows about what happened, so his entire family is mad about the situation, apparently madder at John than me. I don't want to put John in an uncomfortable position or force him to be a parent when he doesn't want to, but I really don't want to lose him. I want to keep the baby though, even if that makes me selfish to do so. OP, helping with chores is not a good quality you should be surprised about. It's basic, and everyone has to do it. So it's not helping you out. It's doing the bare minimum for the place he lives in. You need better standards. To be scared, upset, concerned, or worried about the type of father you'll be is perfectly acceptable. For a grown man to accuse you of cheating and kick you out without bothering to step back to gather his thoughts and speak to you with respect is indicative of poor communication skills, poor coping skills, anger management issues, and outright disrespect towards you. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought this while reading. Helps with chores. Yikes. It sounds like a housewife from the 50s, being happy her husband clears the table once a week. In serious committed relationships, people take equal responsibility for the household work. Nobody helps out. Jesus, people, stop dating man-children and accepting their lazy, childish behavior. Run, do not walk. You are only 33. This guy has no clear plans for therapy. He's 41, yet not in control of himself at all, and reacted terribly as soon as you told him you were pregnant. However, assuming he never lays a hand on you, he still has some legal power over any biological children. He can sue for visitation. So might his mom if she's around. You seem to know very little about the history here, and you don't know who enabled and what kind of trauma your ex has. Don't tie yourself and your tiny fetus to this severely damaged man or his unknown family. You can find another guy who takes responsibility for his own mental well-being and his children's and has an easier life without spending half your free time and money in court. Update: my boyfriend kicked me out last week because he found out I'm pregnant. Basically, to the people who guessed that John was scared, which is why he reacted that way, you were right. He showed up at my apartment last night with a big bouquet of my favorite flowers. I'm not entirely sure how to explain what happened, but I'll do the best I can. After I opened the door, we didn't say anything for a minute, but then I asked him what he was doing at my place. He handed me the flowers and asked to come in, so I said yes. We go to the kitchen. It's so awkward, and I'm busying myself getting a vase and preparing the flowers. And then out of nowhere, he starts talking and apologizing. I'm going to be honest, it was hard to understand what he was saying because he started crying, and I mean bawling. I'm still shocked about it because honestly, I've never seen John cry like that before. Finally, I got him to sit down with me, and he calmed down enough to give me a proper apology. He said that he immediately thought of his childhood and was scared he would end up just like his father. Now, to my credit, I kept the promises I made in the previous post, and I didn't take them back immediately. I told him that we needed to work things out, and therapy was necessary. He wholeheartedly agreed and said that he even scheduled some personal appointments for himself, which was a pleasant surprise. He showed me the confirmation emails, so no, he wasn't lying. He agreed to couples counseling, and we'll find a counselor later today. Plans to move in together are on hold. Working out this issue is the priority. I also got my wish, kind of, that John would open up more. As happy as I am that he trusted me enough to talk about his father, the few little stories he told me last night caused me to lose sleep, and I'm sure I will continue to have that problem for a while. I am still shocked and deeply upset by what he told me, and I requested that he continues to be open, but to tell me slowly so that I have time to process. Nevertheless, I am optimistic about the future, and I've made it clear to him that this is his second chance, and he will not get a third. Oh, a few additional details. The cheating allegation came from a previous relationship that cheated, and he did apologize profusely for that. He has not gotten a vasectomy. He was under the impression that he was infertile, as he was tested years and years ago, and the doctors told him he didn't need one. Lo and behold, he visited a different doctor 4 days ago, who informed him that he does have swimmers. I mean, I'm not the darn Virgin Mary. And yes, he did not know that his sister reached out to me. And yes, his mother was incredibly disappointed in him. But he has made it clear that he came back because he wanted to, not out of pressure from his family. I mentioned that one of his greatest traits is his desire to try and get better, and that is what he promised me. So I think we'll be okay. Be cautious, OP. Promising to do everything right from here won't mean he will. His reaction before was very extreme, so he's going to have to do a lot more than cry and promise to take steps to fix it. This is the first time this man seeks help for his apparent deep trauma. The first time may not stick. The fourth time may not. Therapy isn't a silver bullet. Right now, please be realistic about what you have here. You're having a baby with a very damaged person, someone you've known for less than a year, and who, at the first sign of something unexpected, verbally mistreated you and threw you out. You obviously want to take him back, but I do feel that you have rose-colored glasses on. This man is not prepared for child rearing and the stresses and lack of sleep that come with those years. You need to be realistic here and understand that you will be on the receiving end of a lot of these types of outbursts, and so will your child. Are you okay with that? I have 4-month-old twins and an 18-month-old daughter. All three are breastfed, twins exclusively breastfed. Since my boys, my family has been insane, constantly showing up unannounced, to the point where my wife had to escort my cousin out, literally. We went to my parents' place. We were only planning on being there for a few hours, so our daughter could have some interaction that isn't just us. Naturally, the boys came up. People kept asking to hold them. My cousin then piped up and asked if she could babysit the boys. I said no, they're breastfed and don't take bottles. She said she was sure she could get them to take the bottles, as she'd managed before. She gave our daughter a bottle when she was 12 months, after she'd been using a cup for a few months. I told her that no, they wouldn't be using bottles in any situation. Every few minutes she'd ask again, keep pushing it, coming up with new ideas, none of which I'm going to go for, obviously. Just as we were getting ready to leave, She followed us to the door and quite literally tried to pull one of the boys from me so she could cuddle them. Again, she then asked if I was sure they couldn't have a bottle or if I could just pop back in whenever they're hungry. I turned back to her and said, "Unless you plan on popping a tit out and putting it in his mouth, you're not watching him." My wife found it hilarious. I took my baby back and we left. Since then, my family called me crude and stuck up because she was just asking, saying I could have been kinder. In my opinion, I said no multiple times and she kept pushing. My wife thinks I could have potentially left it, but agrees she had it coming, though my wife doesn't like my family, so take that with a grain of salt. I do feel a little bad. She's autistic and sometimes doesn't understand things, but I feel like I was being obvious enough. I don't know, I have apologized, but she left me on red. Since then, my family has stated they don't want to see me until I make it up to her, which I presume means letting her babysit, which isn't happening. My children aren't dolls, but I'm still being treated like an idiot. Was what I did that bad? A few friends said they'd be really upset, but I don't think they really grasp how agitated I was. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You were kinder the first X number of times you were asked. Unfortunately, kinder wasn't getting the point across, so you needed to try something different. No means no, and she kept pushing. You tried and she kept pushing, and you exploded. What did she expect? Everyone's the idiot here. Your family has done your cousin no favors by allowing her to behave inappropriately, not setting boundaries, and stopping her from pushing when she misses the social cues to stop. You know that she's autistic and has problems picking up social norms that would stop others. Yes, you needed to get blunt with her to stop, but I think the popping out a tit was unnecessary. If anything, I think she would find that more confusing than helpful. OP's not the idiot. Why do people get so obsessive about other people's babies? They're not toys or possessions. You as parents know what's best for your kid. They can ask, but your choice should be respected. They're your children, and they are 4 months old. Autism isn't an excuse not to understand the word no. If your cousin can't grasp the concept of no, they shouldn't be babysitting anyway. My dad found out my mom was cheating, and she won't say with who or when, but we know it's likely around the same time she was a stay-at-home mother. The thing is, she had all of us, 2 brothers, 1 sister, around the same time, so any one of us could not be my father's. He's divorcing my mother and wants us to take a DNA test to prove we're his children. Otherwise, he isn't paying for college for us. He promised to do so before this, and all of us have been counting on it. My sister, oldest, did the test because she was confident she was related to our dad. She was likely pre-cheating, and she looked the most like him, so I was pretty sure she was. She's also in college and is relying on our dad, and he's going to keep paying because the paternity test came back positive. I feel I'm not my dad's biological kid, since I don't look anything like him, and people have even commented I don't look like the rest of my family. I'm terrified because I think he's upset enough that he won't talk to me anymore, and definitely won't be paying for my college. I don't want to take the paternity test because I don't want to know, but I probably won't get college paid for if I don't. The money isn't in a college fund, but set aside as investments my dad has and isn't going to go to my mom in the divorce proceedings, probably. I don't know how things will go, and I'm starting college in September. I stupidly picked a pretty expensive school because I thought my dad would pay for it, and he said it was okay. But now, even if my mom was willing to, I don't think she can afford it. I'm so mad at her and my dad for putting me in this position. I've told him I'm not doing the test, and he said that's okay, but he'll assume I'm not his and not have anything else to do with me since I'm 18 already. So I'm living with my mom, but not talking to her because of this. I might be the idiot for refusing to do a DNA test because I'm scared of the truth and don't want to know. Mom's lawyer also told me not to do it. So you're 18 and just found out your dad may not be your dad, and he's punishing you for something beyond your control. Not the idiot, OP. Your mother is clearly an idiot. Likewise, your dad is being an idiot to treat you as a stranger if you're not getting a DNA test. Jesus, poor kid. His mother is also using him, as she and her lawyer do not want OP to do the DNA test, so that she, OP's mother, can get a better deal in the divorce. The cheating cannot be positively proven. Naturally, OP's father is angry with OP, possibly because he's weakening his divorce case by refusing to take the DNA test and proving his mother cheated. This is a no-win for OP. Even if it turns out he's DNA related, he'll always know his dad was willing to throw him away over a piece of paper. Not the idiot. Your parents suck. I'd have the DNA test done personally just to find out. And if you aren't your dad's kid, try to figure out who your bio dad is. It'll help you later if your doctors ever have any hereditary health questions. You don't have to right now for sure, but I eventually would once I came to terms with it. I am so sorry you're going through this. That is so crappy to deal with as a kid. Go to the college you think will be best for your future. I funded my own college. My parents didn't pay a dime. You can do it. It's harder, but you are capable. Update. I think my mom told her lawyer I'm not my dad's, and he wants to prevent my dad from having concrete proof she was cheating. It's because her parents, my grandparents, refused to believe she cheated. We come from a conservative community, and if there's proof like that out there, no one's going to want anything to do with her. She just wants to save her own skin. After reading some of the comments, I've decided to do the test. I didn't want to out of fear, but now it's clear it doesn't really matter, and it's better I know for sure. So when I was dating my ex-boyfriend, he'd take me to this wonderful Korean barbecue place. It is his favorite restaurant, and I love it too. We broke up in a rather messy and bad way, as the relationship turned sour. I won't play the blame game, there was fault on both sides. I wasn't about to let a bad breakup prevent me from going to get the food I love though, so I still visit the place from time to time. We broke up a year ago, and a little while ago we ran into each other there while he was on a date with another woman. I resolved to ignore him and enjoy my food, but he saw me and demanded to know what I was doing there, and even asked me if I was stalking him. Apparently my laughter at the very idea offended him even further, and I told him he was flattering himself far too much, that I just liked the food there. Some of my friends think it's weird I continue to go here though, and that it could cause further incidents if I run into him, and that I should just not go here anymore, as it was his first, and be considerate. I think it's ridiculous as it's just a restaurant I happen to like. Am I in the wrong here? It was his first? LOL. Unless you're in second grade, this is just a stupid thing for people to say. Not the idiot OP. He doesn't own the restaurant. Therefore, he has no say whether you go there or not. To be honest, he should be more concerned with his date than what you're up to. Otherwise, he'll not see his date again. If I was his date, I would have seen this behavior as a red flag. He's just a customer there. LOL, if he owned it, that would be a different matter. I honestly felt sorry for the poor girl, especially the look she was giving him after my reaction to his accusation of stalking him. I think that may not be a relationship that lasts long. It's a public restaurant. In breakups, you split your shared possessions. Sometimes you even end up splitting the friends, but you don't split public dining and entertainment establishments, LOL. It's cracking me up that he thinks a Korean barbecue spot that he isn't directly affiliated with is an asset that one gets to maintain as part of the split. LOL, keep enjoying your food.